We're live. Let's paint.
Check one. What's up, Creative Faces? How y'all feel? How y'all feel? We are live right now. Thank you guys for joining. In this live stream, we're also going to be making beats in Maschine. Apparently, the Maschine culture, beat making culture, is strong in like what they want to know. There are a lot of questions, a lot of new beat makers, a lot of people purchasing the Maschine, entering the ecosystem. So my name is Ella from Creative. This is also the beat culture. I service you guys, the beat culture. And on this channel, there are no rules. We create in the most creative flow ever. At least we try to. There are some rules to what we do, like certain ways to move around, but those rules are welcome to be broken at any time for a creative process, to do whatever we need to, for whatever we are trying to achieve. So we're in Maschine. I have the latest update right now as of the date of this video, which is 2.17.2. That's what we're working with. I have the Maschine Mark III alongside with the Maschine Jam, which is an older unit. And I have the application open as a standalone. You can also use Maschine as a plugin inside any DAW. Any DAW that supports VST 2 or 3. I believe Maschine 3.0 is a thing now, if I'm not mistaken. So they updated that. Also, I have the Complete Control, which is my keyboard of choice when inserting chords and whatnot. So that's what we'll be working with on this stream. I'm going to pull this out some so we can get to work. The cool thing about these together, if you have both together, is they talk together. They talk to each other. So I have the Viper Gray, which is the same as white. I don't know where that sound is coming from. I just loaded something random. Saying what's up to Phase. Top of the morning. Appreciate you joining. I would love to encourage you guys to subscribe to the channel if you have not did that. Thumbs up on the video. We're going to whip up something real quick. Any questions that you guys may have while I'm creating, I'll do the best I can to look at the questions and answer the best way that I can. All right, so let's do it. So as of yesterday, we went live, kind of did the masterclass thing. Like I said, the camera angle is not all that great right now. I am working to improve that, but for right now, I just wanted to go live and make a beat. So the first thing I start off with, it really depends on my vibe, what I'm picking up, what I'm feeling. I don't always start with drums. Most of the times I'm starting with chords or samples or anything with melodic vibes to it, a guitar sound or whatever. I a lot of times play it live, like I play it, you know what I mean? But there are times where I go for inspiration from, other places like splice.com or believe it or not, sounds.com. It still exists. It exists. I didn't know. I went the other day and saw like, wow, because I know they was having issues one time, and um, it's kind of cool to see that it's still growing strong. Maybe they fix some things because the whole concept behind sounds.com, which is a native instruments thing, is that it works just like Splice, but when you download something, it's supposed to automatically download itself into a folder or your Maschine situation, and it's supposed to automatically recognize itself without you doing anything, dragging anything over, and things like that. So, but there was an issue at one time. It stopped updating itself, and um I guess the designers had to go back and recode some things or whatever. I'm not really sure if any of that got fixed, but anyway, I'm going to find something that will inspire us, which is Playbox. Playbox is a player item. I'm going to load that in. And while that's loading in, I'm going to look at the comments. I am putting out the OG Phantom Wave collection. All the sounds from the original keyboard from the earlier 2000s. If you're interested, I'll send you a link. It's a 12 gig collection. Wow. Man. The old OG, the Phantom. I remember that thing. Everybody and their mama had one of those. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like the motif. The motif was a thing that everybody had. The Triton Studio was another one. I have the Triton Studio. I had the option to go with the motif or the Triton Studio. I went with the Triton Studio, and I still own that thing. But yeah, the Phantom is definitely a respected platform that a lot of people had or have. Oh snap! I load that to the wrong pad. Let's do that. Okay, so we're gonna go into Maschine, the back end of it, and change some stuff. lock in the chords. And like I told y'all, you can pop this thing out. And we're gonna change out the samples. I kind of like that. Obviously, there's. Oh crap! I didn't realize I was recording. Erase that. Let me turn off this player. All right. That's interesting. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, let's quantize that real quick. Let me change the The only problem I have is that the samples kind of start a little too late. I wonder if I could change that. If I do that, that might be better. Okay, I like that. Sometimes you gotta adjust things to make it fit and sound better, I guess. See what that sounds like. Uh-oh. Oh, snap. And I didn't save it. But you know what? Maschine has, well, let's see, because I just realized that dang, I was on to something. Gosh. What's up, Jay Merlin? Oh, snap. Oh, snap. What's going on? Jerome, what's up, bro? We got Shad Haru. Shad K. Haru, what's happening? Got Devin. What's good, man? Good to see Maschine on the stream. That rhymes. Good to see Maschine on the stream. Yeah, man, indeed. I'm enjoying myself in here. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. There are. I'm talking as I get Maschine back up, and we probably go with a whole different vibe. But oh, check that out. It says restore project. Okay, Maschine has. Okay. All right. There is an option here that says Maschine can restore the project. That's something I didn't realize that they did, because that wasn't there before. Maschine wasn't doing this when you lose a project, it wasn't restoring things. So y'all probably knew that, but I didn't. This is new to me. I just thought I lost everything because that was the workflow. So wow, okay, that's what's up. I like it. So that's the news I'm reporting to you guys. I thought we was going to just go with I don't know. Because that's usually what happens if a project cuts out. Well, I just move to a whole nother vibe. Just do something else. But it's taking its time to reload everything, all the samples and whatnot. So, but we back up. Let's see. Okay, I dig it. And I'm looking at my CPU. It did jump. There was a hike there, and that's probably why I cut out. But for that reason, I am going to do something that I kind of taught myself. Like I like the option of bouncing in place, and it just the wave version of it. So with that being said, I'm going to take advantage of this option. So when you do this, you got to make sure that whatever sounds in that group is the only thing that's playing. So I'm gonna take that sound. So instead of having like 16 versions of the same plug, because I know Playbox is a CPU beast, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take this and there's these options right here at the right, like right below this big deal right here. If you can see this bar right here where your knobs are, and then right to the right of the screen in this little bitty strip right here, there's got this deal, this icon that looks like a MIDI. It's a MIDI icon, and then right next to it is a wave icon. And let me see something. Just real quick, I'm gonna explain. Anytime well, maybe I shouldn't explain that part, because that now we get into the complicated worlds, and I don't want to have to. Anyway, so just for now, we're gonna just do this. I'm gonna hold this button until it completes itself, and I'm gonna just bring it down to the pad number 2, and then I can mute number 1, and it should play. This is the audio that I just downloaded. And now I give back the CPU, you know what I'm saying? Deactivate that plugin. But I want to go back to the plugin and do something. I want to open it up and yeah. All right, so I'm gonna do the same thing because I like that. I'm gonna mute this one and go ahead and do that again and push this to pad 3. So now we have both of these. And now I can go in here and just, let me activate this one. And I can pan this. Give that a stereo feel. More of a wide. Yeah. That's how we do things over here. You know what I'm saying? That's the workflow. And actually, I can come back in here. Open up Playbox. I have the chords locked in. And I'm gonna randomize the samples. Woo. Oh my gosh. Ooh, boy. I like that. But we're gonna keep going. I'm gonna change the envelope, the attack on it. So give me that sound. I like it. I'm gonna halftime it. Woo! I like it. Okay. I like that. All right, so again, mute those two. Bounce that in place. So this is my cheap way of like bouncing. So now we got 3 wave. Let me see if I can go for something else. Let's see. I like that. I like that. Mute those. Okay, I like that. I like that. And because this is hovering around the bass, so to speak, I'm gonna put a EQ on here. Come straight here and say, actually there should be an EQ already on here, because this is a sampler. So where is it? Oh, it's an audio, so it's not, there isn't okay, in the sampler there isn't an audio deal. But you know what? Let me see if I could just change this to a sampler. Let's see. But I have to do this. Yeah. So, like I was telling y'all yesterday, there is two different samplers, so to speak. The regular sampler is what gives you a bunch of options in there. It's called sampler, and the other one is audio. The one that's called audio is another type of sampler, but it's engaged by gates and loops, meaning that it will play stop with the project. If it's in loop, it will always play. But the problem is when you start moving that around, you start building different scenes in different sections, it's going to do things you don't want it to do. So I usually switch the engine to gate and play it and insert MIDI notes. So it's almost like MIDI and sample on the same track, but when it's in gate mode, it just opens up the sample, because that's what a gate does. Just think about a gate at your house. When you close the gate, you know, that's the concept of that. It's the same here. You close the gate, you don't want anything to insert and exit, right? When you open the gate, that grants access to anything that can fit through the gate, right? So that's the whole concept here. And that's really the concept of gate, period. Like when we use gate as a plugin on any track, gate open, you know, then you got the open and close functions. So that's the technology behind this when you're using audio, not sampler. So when you're using audio. So, but anyway, I wanted to like avoid grabbing another plugin, and I just wanted to use the onboard EQ because that's the regular sampler comes with that. Let me double click here and let me show you exactly what I mean. Okay, I can't double click because that's an internal deal. So if I go here, yeah. So that's exactly what I'm saying here. Like it gives me these different options here. And that's the difference. So now I have the ability to turn on the filter, which is what I'm going for. And I'm going to go for the high pass filter, right? So that I can kind of curve and shave off the low end. And that's what we're doing right here. So if I solo, let me go to the machine and I can actually solo that one, I think. Yep, I can solo that. So if I play it, you can kind of hear it a little bit in the background because it's too much shaved off. So let me dial back. There we go. Give a little bit more presence. Maybe. Actually, it's doing what I don't want it to do. So let me go with this one instead. So I'm just using the compressor function just to bring up the gain some so I can hear it more. So when you use this function, what it's doing is curving off it's like a low pass and high pass at the same time. So now your middle section is more so pronounced. So that's all I really wanted for this sound. So now when we add everything back, unsolo everything or unsolo that one, you can kind of hear it. Well, actually, that's because the other plug is open. Let me turn this off. Yeah, there we go. All right, so now we're ready for the next section. So I'm gonna go here to my scenes and duplicate that. And we're gonna unique that because I want to do something different, I think. So this one is, I don't know what that is. Oh. All right, let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So basically what I'm doing is, okay, so in Maschine, right, you have different pads. You have 16 pads per group, right? That's the concept, right? Hope everybody follows. 16 pads per group. You have as many groups as you want. So group A, so right in front of you, you have all the way up to 8. I mean, 8 in view. H, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, right? So each pad, each 16 is per group, right? So 16 plus 16 plus 16, whatever. And you actually have more groups. I've done that a few times where I went beyond H, and you can click this thing, and you have to hit shift though. When you get to H, you hit shift, and then you can like keep going. It's crazy, right? This thing is nuts. But on each pad, you got to be careful because sometimes there are samples in the pad. It's kind of like a container, right? A container, if you're working with instruments such as like instruments that allows you to make chords and things like that. It's the same for drums. If there is something that's built as drums, like for instance, I just used the 40s joint, right? The 40s to create the little drum percussion deal. That is a Play Series product, which means that those are generated by keys and not pads. So essentially you have more sounds on one pad than you would if you put like one shots on each pad, if that makes sense. So when you have a situation like that, that's when you go in the Maschine and go on that pad and open up the keyboard function, which opens up that whole deal. And when you do that, then you have this deal that pops up. You can go octave up, octave down to reach the full level of keys. You know what I'm saying? C, D, E, F, G, blah, 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 and so forth. Octave higher, octave lower. And so you have to do that. So in this instance, I'm in keyboard function, and you see me hitting all of the pads. Well, you can't see it on screen, but promise, I'm hitting all of the pads. You don't have to believe me, but I am. But I'm in keyboard mode and not the pad mode. If that makes sense, right? So that is how, like, most of the drums, like when we talking instruments, like when you're in Maschine and you're in the instrument section, when you looking at the 60s kit, the drum studio kits, anything that's drum related, those are anything instrument. All instruments, you have to go into the keyboard function. So when you go to the keyboard functions, you can access all of blah 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 blah. It helps if you had a keyboard. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like my correlation back and forth with the Maschine. So if I'm just hitting the pad or whatever, but I mean, you could totally do all this on the Maschine, but you are limited. You only have 16 pads. Also, that is also where the Maschine Jam come in, because the Maschine Jam is like the Maschine, but spelled out. It's kind of like the Ableton Live, the Push 2 deal, right? All those different pads on there. Well, the Maschine Jam kind of extend over into that territory, because now you have, I think this is 64 pads on here. And then you can go in and I've done stuff like that. I created bass lines with this. You know what I mean? So just remember, on the Maschine, you have only 16. And I mean, you could do what you got to do, but there's options. There's options. I have an affiliate link for this stuff that I'm talking about. The Maschine, no, actually I don't. Not the keyboard, but the Maschine Plus. Maschine Plus and the Maschine MK3 is the links that are in the description. If y'all want the link to the keyboard and the jam, I can get that for you. I just didn't do that. I forgot to do that. I didn't think I was going to go in depth with that. But anyway, let's spend a little time answering his questions. Ron is in the building. What's up, Ron? What's up? What up? What up? What up? Ron is here. Trini Best says, can you do a vid on how to get this track into Logic? Yeah, absolutely. If I explain that real quick, I promise you it's gonna be super easy. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. But you do know that any projects that you save in Maschine can be pulled up again in the plugin version in any DAW. I don't know if anybody know that, but you can do that. You can do that, because Maschine is like the same platform right here. It's the same exact platform in plugin. When you pull it up, you go to Logic, you go to Studio One, you go to Reason, anywhere that supports VST, you can pull this up as a plugin, and it look exactly the same thing. The only thing that you may lose, and I promise you, it's the most minimalistic things that you will lose, is the transport functions. But if the DAW has DAW integration between the Maschine and the DAW, you kind of don't lose that. And so then the transport functions down here, and when I say transport, I mean the play, stop, rewind, loop, the loop function, the metronome function, stuff like that. It will control the entire DAW, right, with that. But you do lose some function because it's now talking to the DAW that you're using, and not Maschine by itself. Like, it's not a direct deal. And quite frankly, this transport functions down here, like, I don't even know if any of you guys use, and I know you can't see, I apologize, but I'm explaining it the best way I can. This transport functions down here, it has different functions. Like, when you hit the restart button, underneath it says loop, because you can also hit shift and make this turn on the loop, turn it on and off, right? Then you got the eraser, the erase button next to that. It erase and it replace. It's also what you use to engage to hit record if that's what you're doing. So if we're going with the flow and you say, "Oh, I don't like that pattern," all you gotta do is hit erase and record at the same time and never stop the play. That's the function. That's how it works. But when you're in DAW mode, you may lose that function. You see what I'm saying? Then you got the tap tempo and the metro, and then this follow button. This follow grid button may not even be something you can access in the plug-in mode. See that's the only thing that you would lose. But that's not even something that everybody even really care about. Only the true machine users think about stuff like that. So don't even worry about that. Let me see. You said not to drop and drag, right? Absolutely. Yeah. We're definitely not talking about dropping and dragging, but you can use, yeah, like I say, you can use Maschine as a, and I do it all the time. This, which is why I do videos, because people be like, "How can you do that?" Yeah, you could. And people be thinking it's rewire. No, it's not rewire. I'm actually using Maschine as a plug-in, like any other instruments. So in your case, Logic Pro, when you go to any instrument inside your DAW, you pull it up, right, and you play and do your thing, and what you record becomes MIDI notes, editable, and blah 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 blah. Well, Maschine is the same way. It comes in, but Maschine has its own workflow. That's the thing. Maschine has its own workflow now. So what we doing now, right now, creating the beat and blah blah blah, scenes and patterns and getting the song structured, is the same way as a plugin inside of Logic. If you think about it, it becomes a more powerful production tool, which is why I use the Maschine and been using it for years. So, yeah, I've been doing this for years. So it's like an add-on, like a whole slew of extra stuff that was made for the Maschine, and all the things you love about Maschine becomes available in your DAW on top of what you love inside your DAW. So it's like two worlds, collabing together. So you have to learn the workflow of the Maschine, because in your DAW, most of the times it's linear, right? When you in Logic, you working in a linear workflow. You going from point A to point B to point C, D. You know what I mean? In music terms, bar one, bar two, bar three, you probably start with 4 bars, loop that until you come up with something that you like. And you probably duplicate that section to the next section and add on. And that's at least how I do things. You just keep adding, boom, 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 boom. Or you may create your whole hook section first, like, because you hear everything at once, and then you copy and paste and duplicate and move things around, and you go and take things out. I used to do that way. So I have several ways I do things. But in Maschine, everything works in blocks. You're not necessarily moving stuff like that. Like, you're not creating. I mean, you can do that, which is why they came up with clips. Clips is another way to kind of work in a linear workflow. And I guess I need to do more videos like this to show y'all how all this stuff, because Maschine can be a very complicated workflow if you prefer it that way. But I like clips. Clips is pretty dope because you can move clips around the session. Like, clips is like the unlocked pattern. That's all it is. You move and do whatever you like, just like inside your DAW. When you working from patterns like we were doing now, you can't move the patterns. Like, take a mouse click and try to nudge it. Like, man, if I could just move that pattern over, you have to convert it to a clip in order to nudge stuff and move stuff around. It's definitely a frustration to some people, but I find it as a powerful feature. I've been getting to love the Maschine even more when they do stuff like that. So never touch the transport glide pad. You don't touch the glide. I use that thing all the time. What's up, Spaces? Hey guys, if you're enjoying the content, remember to give me thumbs up on this in the channel. We're trying to grow the channel. If you are new here, you're just checking it out. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what this guy talking about. It's all these machine videos. Everybody want to talk about machine. Let me see what he really know. Like, is he good with it? Just go ahead and subscribe and find out. Just subscribe to the channel. I appreciate your subscription. I cover a lot of things in regards to beat making. So I welcome your subscription. Let's be family. Let's be friends. You know what I'm saying? You talking about writing notes directly from the machine to Logic. Let me see if I can like mentally put that together. Where you're trying to go with that. So you could do one or two things. When you use Machine as a plugin inside of Logic, you can use Machine as, you know, a stereo input, so to speak, you know, and Machine is controlled by Logic in terms of tempo. I don't know if y'all know that too, but yeah, like right now we at 120. So if I put this project in Logic, and if I want to increase the tempo by 130, you know, you know, the Machine will follow that. So I can program and do everything. So yeah, when you programming anything inside a Machine, you're using the Machine to program stuff inside a Machine, the plugin. You know what I'm saying? And in Logic, when you're on a track that's in Logic, then you use your keyboard or whatever MIDI, you know, controller to import notes and do whatever, you know, from that standpoint. So yeah, things are a little bit different. If you want to import the MIDI notes that you just did in Machine, you like, you know, I want to take this out and bring it to another instrument, you can still do that. That's what the functions are, the drag and drop functions. You know what I mean? And I just use the drag and drop functions for the purpose of keeping everything inside a Machine, but as a wave, like my own version of bouncing in place. You know, it probably wasn't designed that way, but we did it that way. So when you say, now I think I feel like I'm understanding what you're saying. So when you say writing the notes directly from Machine to Logic, you're not in Logic creating the notes in Logic for Machine. If you got Machine on a channel, you're not creating the notes. You don't want Logic to you can do that, because essentially this is all MIDI, right? You could so do that, but the problem is that when you do that, you start adding more sounds in Machine. Well, the MIDI notes that you create in Logic will control every note in Machine, which is why there's this other thing that people do, and I did a video on that, where you can actually route the Machine out. You can actually go pad by pad. You can have each 16 pads on its own lane inside a Machine. And if you prefer to do it that way, then you can write MIDI notes inside of Logic that correlates or correspond with that pad. You can do it that way if that's what you prefer to do. I'd never do that. I hate that workflow. I don't care for that workflow. It is a bit of a work to get all of your pads routed. First of all, you got to go in and you got to change settings and things like that. That kills the workflow, and it also limits you to only 16 pads, because MIDI is 16. MIDI only handles 16 channels at a time, which means that's only one group, which means you can't use all your groups like you want to in Machine if you got a bunch of stuff that you're trying to do. So it limits you. But if that's what you're doing, then that's totally fine. You can so do that. But if you're a type of person like me, a lot of times I'm loading up groups. I'll go on Machine in the browser section. I'll load up groups. which means when you load up groups, they come in as 16 different sounds automatically. And I may use 2 or 3 or 4 sounds out of the group and go to another group and load that up and pick like 3 sounds out of that and load up another group. And I might be using 7 pads in there. You know what I mean? If you're doing it like that, then that whole routing everything channel by channel in Logic, that will become obsolete, because remember, you can only do 16 pads at a time. So me, when my workflow, if I'm using the plugin inside of Logic or Studio One in my case, or Bitwig, you know, because that's what I also use. I just program in Maschine as normal, just do my thing, you know, just create the beat, and I don't care about how many pads I'm using and what, because what I'm also doing is mixing on the fly. That's another thing that I do. I mix on the fly, which is really cool, because there is a dedicated mix button here on the machine, and I can just mix, you know, everything. And usually my projects come out pretty cool. When I get to the point where I'm submitting it to an artist to record, or, you know, passing it on to someone else to do whatever, then I'll just export all of the sounds. Like, there's a function in here where you can export everything, you know, track by track, you know, the kick, the snare, blah, 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 blah. And I just go and clean it up inside the DAW and see what I'm using. And you know what I'm saying? And I do it that way. That's my preferred method. Like, when I'm ready to export everything, all of that work gets done at the end. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, at that point, the beat is already made, you know, and who knows, I might get it inspired and like change some things, you know, because now inside your DAW, you know, the DAW, digital audio workstation, you know what I'm saying? Like, it gives you more editing features, if you will. Inside a Maschine does not give you a lot of not creative. I digress. The Maschine gives you basic functions just to create the beat. It's just what they call it, groove box. The Maschine groove box, that's what they call it. So Ron says, since I have the MK3, I was considering an A61 keyboard since the screen is on it. Right. You can still do that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So one day I'll do that. I mean, I have several videos that I've done in the past where I'll use Maschine and Studio One together. I think that's what this channel a lot of times is mostly geared towards, you know, with that workflow. Lately, I've been working in Bitwig, and it's kind of the same concept. I haven't been using Maschine as much as a plugin inside of Bitwig, because I've been like fascinated with Bitwig, you know, by itself and what it does in the workflow. But to believe it or not, Bitwig and Maschine kind of favors the same workflow, if you will. Right now, we have 2 different scenes, right? So if I switch up, say, that's the scene that we kind of build on, and if I go to this scene, that's the simple version. That's the next scene. So we're going to take this and duplicate it. Actually, we're going to make this longer. But yeah, like, one of the things that I don't really like too much is the fact that Maschine don't have a pre here for the MIDI notes. when you click on any MIDI note, you just clicking it. There is no option to hear what you're clicking, you know. So when you moving and adjusting notes back and forth, you can't hear that. I don't know why they didn't put this in here yet. Like, bruh, all dolls does that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody do that. Why is that not in here? I don't know. All right, so back to the workflow. I'm gonna go for Massive. Alright, I'm gonna go for my trusty bass. It's the Mafia 8. That's what I like to use. Doom, boom, doo-doo. Come on. Bring yourself. I probably should save this project, right? That makes sense. Before it cuts out again. Yeah, Trini B, no problem, no problem. Any questions you may have, that's what I am here for. That is what I do. I try to answer the questions. Okay, my Mafia, my trusty right here. Go sections. Change. I don't like that. realized I was recording. Let's undo that. Okay, this one. Nope. Okay, I like that. I like that. Uh-oh. There's a freeze. Let's stop and let's save this thing. Let's save it. Let's save it. All right. So we save. Yes, yes. You got an A61 dev. Yeah, that's a great setup. Yeah, you can still do that. That's the reason why they make those type of keyboards with no screen, because those are designed for people who look elsewhere at the screen. Me, I have the big boy because I do look at the screen on my keyboard. I having the screen on the keyboard and the machine to me is like, oh, it's golden because I utilize my keyboard in a way that, like, the options that's available to me that I can't do with no screen. I plus I use my keyboard like it's like my keyboard right here is like the hybrid of everything. It's like the brains of everything I do. So if I'm in Bitwig, if I'm in Studio One, if I'm in Logic, if I'm in Ableton Live, or even Maschine, using the standalone or wherever, like the keyboard is always used in my situation, primarily due to DAW integration because I can control everything from my keyboard. So for me in my situation, and I think the A series does that too. You could DAW control from there, but like being able to mix, like, I find this keyboard, like, there's a lot of use for me and what I do in my workflow. Okay, so we're in the key of I think it's E. So I gotta. All right, I'm gonna do that trick again. Where we mute these, and we're gonna take this and put that on sound 4. So now we got that sound. I'm gonna take these, delete those. This is a workflow, guys, or at least for me. So now I'm gonna go back to the glaze, and maybe, I don't know. is it. I'll do a little. Yep. So mute those, and this one, I'm gonna take that. This is what I do, like, to avoid, you know, especially for like instruments I'm grabbing bits and pieces from and just placing them in different places. This is just kind of what we do here. And then from my keyboard, just turn that one down. Actually, I can pan it, to be honest. Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. All right, so the next instrument I'm going for, I'm gonna just go. Why not? I'll just keep everything in the same group since that's kind of been what I've been doing. Man, I appreciate you guys' support. I hope you guys are enjoying yourself. We going for them likes, thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Subscribe if this is your first time here. I would love to hear from you. Gonna get that reverb going in here. So now we playing with the different ideas. And you can save from the machine. Shift file. 1, 2, 3. So I'm gonna add that loop in there, and then I'm gonna add an EQ. Or a filter. So this is the part right here where I was telling y'all. So since we in the audio for the samplers, you know, so to speak, I'm gonna change the loop to gate, and then we're gonna just do it like that. And I can control the part of the loop that I want in there. You know what I'm saying? So I use the jam to program everything. And I can actually duplicate this. Just 4 bars. You know what I'm saying? little bit more work to that kick. I guess that works. So when I'm ready for song mode, all I gotta do is say append on the machine, and I want the first one to be just hit the pad like several times or whatever. Whichever one you want to append, double up, you know what I mean? So now when we are in machine mode or song mode, this is what's happening. All right. Turn on the loop function if you want to. You know what? I want to add a guitar part right there. Let's delete this section right here. Let's delete that. So now we're working in Maschine as linear workflow now. So now I can go to any part of the song and just loop that and just work on that one little area. You know what I'm saying? Let me quantize that. Quantize. All right. Okay, that part right there is wag. But see, I don't know how that sounds. That's the thing. Okay. If Maschine can fix this, like I'm adjusting my notes, but I can't hear it. I guess I could start from right here. Right there. Okay, so okay. Right, and so then you can go to another group and do clip that in, you know, instrument. Okay, so this, we're gonna loop this section right there. Clip that in. So that's how you do it. And then you just repeat it. And then, you know, you can add some type of maximizer. Let's see what this one sounds like. Just to get the volume like hitting. Something like that, you know what I mean? Get the volume. It's like a limiter, pretty much. Add a little. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. No, I don't concern myself with gain station in Maschine. Actually, to be honest with you, I don't really concern myself with gain station at all, period. When making beats, that is, because it's not important to me. I just go based off vibe. I go based off of feeling. You know what I mean? And I'll push whatever I think needs to be pushed. Because to be honest with you, when you have things like limiters and maximizers at the end, now I do go through a different process when I'm mixing. Like if I get a project and I'm like, now that I'm in the zone of where I'm mixing, then I'm doing certain things. You know, I am gain staging, you know, at that point. But like when I'm making the beat, I don't really concern myself with that. If a sound is lower than the other sounds, like, you know, dB levels, I just go for something to boost the gain to taste. I don't go in and try to gain stage and like worry about the technical aspect of, oh, okay, this sound is not where I need to. Let me gain stage it first and then go and, or like, I just use the faders, and the faders will be doing like this. I know a lot of people will gain stage and mix. It's kind of like a pre-mix from the gain stage, and where the faders are close to unity. I don't worry about that. And to be honest with you, in because every instrument or every channel, every pad is different, specifically inside of Machine. You got instrument that comes in. It got its own volume knobs in most of them, right? And then when you're dealing with samples, then okay, at the sampler level, there's a gain knob there, but then there's a gain. Is there a gain knob inside of each channel? I don't really think so. But that would actually require me to put like a plug in front of everything in order to do the gain staging, in Machine, if you will. Um, I don't think you can even do that in Machine. To be honest with you, when you think about it, there is no gain. There's just volume. Everything is just volume at that level, at the bottom level. There's nothing on top that can set stuff. But I guess that would be gain stage if you go to. I don't know. I don't really concern myself with that. That's the whole point. That's what I'm really trying to say. I don't really concern myself with that. When I'm ready to mix, of course, like things are different, because especially if I'm sending this out somewhere, I may concern myself with that. Also, when I'm doing sound design, I may concern myself with gain staging, because I want everything to be at certain levels, and don't want you guys, the end user, to do much adjusting. I'll do that, but like making beats, I don't really, I don't really get into that. I just don't get into that. But that's just me. That's just me. That's me. Yeah, that's just me. Anyway, I have fun, guys. I really enjoy the comments and the questions, and um, I enjoyed your presence. I feel good. I hope you guys learned something. I don't do these videos often, so voila, here you go. I felt real good. I was like, let me go live again and do something. Anyway, I got to get out of here. Y'all have a good one. Hope y'all lunch break was exquisite. I know some of y'all are watching it from your lunch break, but yeah. If you got any questions, of course, as always, you can make your comments in the comment section of this video or reach out to me on social media platforms and whatnot. We are also on Discord. That's another place where you can join and reach out to me, creative.art/Discord. So if you got any questions, just introduce yourself. You know what I mean? What you into, stuff like that. And then, poke around, ask your questions. I also welcome people who have knowledge. I welcome you to share some knowledge. Just don't come in like you know everything. You know what I mean? Like trying to tell people how to do things. That's the only thing. Like I feel like everybody has a freedom will to do what they please, even if they're not on par. There are some people who need more assistance than others, of course, but it's free reign in the group. Like we don't go by rules. Everybody process is different. My whole thing behind sharing knowledge with you guys is just I'll show you what I do. I'll show you what results I come up with, and you learn that until you get to a point where you discover something else that works best. I'm not gonna get upset about that. That's cool. It's totally fine. That's what we're here for. I show you what's going on, and then you take it from there. That's what it's all about, man. I told you not to do that. Why would you do that? I didn't show you that. Yeah, I ain't know that. That's not my vibe. Anyway, I gotta go. Till next time, guys. To the beat coach.